What if the best piece of advice you've ever gotten was actually the worst? We're going to dig into this really powerful idea from Denzel Washington that just flips the whole script on success and challenges everything we've been taught about playing it safe.
Denzel often kicks things off with this quote from Nelson Mandela, and man, it just sets the stage perfectly. This whole philosophy is about refusing to settle. It's about reaching for that life you are truly capable of living. It's about not playing small.
I bet you've heard this a million times. I know I have. From your parents, from teachers, maybe you even tell yourself this. Make sure you have something to fall back on. It sounds so responsible, right? So practical. But what if that safety net is the very thing keeping you from ever learning how to fly?
Well, Denzel Washington, he completely rejects this idea. He says having something to fall back on basically programs you to retreat. It gives you a built-in excuse to take a step backward the second you stumble. His alternative? It's simple, but it's radical. Fall forward.
So this sets up two totally different ways of thinking. Falling back is all about playing it safe, retreating, and limiting what you think is possible. But falling forward, that's about taking risks, learning from every single stumble, and actually turning your failures into a launch pad. You're not looking behind you at what went wrong, you're looking ahead at what's coming next. So here's the key. Falling forward means that if you're going to fall, and you are, you might as well fall in a way that lets you see what you're about to hit. Failure isn't the end of the line. It's just data. It's an informative and, yeah, absolutely necessary step on the path to doing something that actually matters.
But let's be super clear here. This isn't just a license to daydream. Denzel is really firm on this. This whole philosophy demands action. Dreams, they're the fuel, for sure. But without the engine of actual, concrete goals and a ton of hard work, you're just sitting in the driveway. Those dreams just stay dreams.
And this isn't just some feel-good theory. It's a pattern, and it's proven. If you look at the lives of some of the most successful people in history, you'll see they didn't just avoid failure, they were masters of it.
2,600. Think about that number. That's how many times the baseball legend Reggie Jackson struck out. It's literally a record. The most in the history of the sport. I mean, by that one metric, he's the biggest failure to ever play the game.
But that's not what we remember, is it? We don't call him Mr. Strikeout. We remember the home runs. He was Mr. October. And this just shows the point so perfectly. His willingness to risk striking out that much was directly tied to his ability to hit those monster home runs. He was always falling forward. Okay, or how about this number? 1,000. That's how many times Thomas Edison supposedly failed trying to invent the light bulb. Can you imagine that? 1,000 experiments that just didn't work. 1,000 dead ends.
And we all know what happened on try number 1001. It worked, and it lit up the entire world. He didn't see those first 1,000 attempts as failures. He saw them as 1,000 steps toward the answer.
This quote just nails it. It's the absolute essence of falling forward. Every single time you fail, you haven't lost. You've learned something. You've actually gotten closer to your goal, even when it feels like you've just taken a huge step back.
It's one thing to admire people like Edison or Reggie Jackson. It's easy. But what about us? What does it actually take to live this way in our own lives? Well, it's not just about philosophy. It's about courage. It takes guts.
Denzel is so blunt about this. He says, look, it's not a possibility. It's a guarantee. You will fail. You will lose. You are going to embarrass yourself. You're going to totally suck at something. And his advice isn't to try and avoid it. It's to embrace it. Expect it. Heck, welcome it as part of the ride.
And Denzel isn't just talking here. He's lived it. Get this. Early in his career, he went for an audition at the Court Theater. He bombed it. He couldn't sing. He failed. But he didn't quit. He kept at it, failing and failing and failing. Now, let's fast forward 30 years. Where is he? He's starring in the massive Broadway hit Fences at the exact same theater. I mean, come on, that is the definition of falling forward.
And that leads to maybe the most challenging idea of all. Just think about this for a second. If you're not failing, are you even trying? A life without any failure might not be a sign of perfection. It might just be a sign that you're playing it way too small to find out what you're really made of.
So this brings us to the final and honestly the most profound part of this whole idea. This isn't just career advice anymore. This is about how you choose to live your entire life and what you leave behind.
Denzel paints this incredibly powerful and, yeah, kind of haunting picture. He says, imagine that moment at the very end of your life. And standing around your bed, it's not just your family, it's the ghosts of everything you could have been. The ghosts of the ideas you were too scared to try. The talents you just let fade away.
And these ghosts, they're looking at you disappointed. They say, "We came to you. You were the only one who could have brought us to life, and you didn't. You chose to play it safe, to fall back. And now," they say, "we have to go to the grave together." I mean, what a gut punch of an image.
And that, right there, is the ultimate question. It completely reframes how we look at risk, doesn't it? Because the real tragedy isn't failing at something you went for. The real tragedy is getting to the end and being surrounded by the ghosts of who you could have become. So, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed?